Good morning. My name is Terry Morgan. It is Wednesday, April 15th. It is not tax day this year. That got postponed out into July, so we don't have to worry about that. What we're going to do this morning is some stretches. I have my cat Shen here to help me with that. We have the pet the cat stretch that we'll do in just a minute. Thanks for coming. Feet about shoulder width apart. Do some circle stretches. So this is just stretch up, reach out, stretch all the way over, and come back up. If you have a pet, you can put them at your feet and you can pet them while you're there. Fun things to do. If you have kids, young people in the house, these stretches are going to be great for them because they can use all of the flexibility that they have, which is considerable. So, feet about shoulder width apart, hands at your sides, shoulders down and relaxed, pull up through the crown of the head, hands circle around to the front, and then they can come back to the sides. Pull up along center line, reach up, stretch up, and keep shoulders down. Stretch out over the legs, reach out as much as you can, bend the knees, keep the knees bent, relax, and roll up, and good again. Stretch up, reach out, keep the knees bent, and roll up through the back. One more time. Stretch up, reach out, stretch out over the legs, keep the knees bent, open the hip, support the body through the abs, roll up, stretch up one more time, and then the elbows drop down, wrists, fingertips, hands return to your sides. Okay, so one of the things, and I'm turned sideways so you can see this, one of the things that we want with this stretch is to really open up the back. This is, there's Qigong element to these stretches. I'm giving them right now as just some really good get up and move around stretches. So watch what happens through my back here as I stretch over my legs, right? And again, remember, we bend the knees for pretty much everything that we're doing. So circle front, stretch up. As I reach out, I want to try to further extend my back. And the way that I can do that is by opening my hips, right? So as I stretch out, I'm supported here, and I can pull up. That means that my hips can come up a little bit. That means my legs are open and the hip can move over the leg. We're going to do some floor stretches in a little bit that will help with that. The goal for this in the context of stretching right now is to get up and do something and feel better. It's real simple. In the context of Tai Chi and Qigong, this is the large heavenly circle. And the goal for opening the hips, opening the legs, opening the back is to increase the flow of qi through the body and to develop the ability to move as you wish. So a lot of times we're limited in our movement by tension in a muscle, by not ever having done some of these things. I'm pretty flexible I am. And it's because I've been doing this for years and years, more than 40, 40. So, yeah, I am. Not everybody is. So you have to develop that. How do you develop that? Some of the techniques that I'm showing you will give you the tools to develop that. There's no end all be all. There are some folks who are starting now, and I'm going to show you this. And for most everybody, this movement is not going to be a problem, right? Bend the knees a little bit, and you pull up. Now, somebody might have a little trouble in their shoulders, right? So, taking the hands up all the way might be a little difficult to start out with. So, go to where you can, right? If this is where you can go, this is where you go. If you can reach up more, and you're trying to reach up more, you want this to be open and rounded. Not this, okay? This is not good. Open and rounded. Okay? If your hands are here, that's fine. If your hands are here, that's fine. And notice that as I brought my hands down, I moved them a little more forward. I still want this full circle. I still want the idea this is a complete and full circle. So as I come up, maybe I need to stop a little bit sooner. And as I reach out over, maybe I can't go any further than this. Maybe that's it for me today, right? So this is my circle, right here. Okay? And come up and do the same thing. The idea is that you have a smooth and continuous circle and that you're trying to actively use all of the muscles that you can engage to make that circle, okay? Personal story, I've had some times when I had injury. I'm thinking particularly earlier this year. I could not bend all the way over to the floor. I was doing this short circle. It was not fun. But every day, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, to the point that I'm now back to where I was before I hurt myself. So I didn't do it on purpose. Athletes do this. We exert ourselves, and sometimes we do things that, maybe just shouldn't have done that day. So, you know, you want to warm up, you want to make sure that you're as loose as possible and that everything is working in harmony before you start exerting too much effort to do anything. I'm reminding myself of that, especially as I've gotten older. I really do need to make sure that I've warmed up. Alright, so the second circle that we have is inward, right? So we start out the same, except we're going to go inward. And with this, we want the back to arch as we come up, but be careful with that. All the weight goes on the legs, and none of your weight as you come up should be here. None of it. It should all be down here in your legs. Okay? You want this to be open and relaxed, not doing a bunch of lifting work. You don't want to lift with this part of your back most of the time anyway. You want to use your legs. So as you're coming up, think about, I'm using my abs here, and I'm using my legs to help lift my body back to upright position. Okay? Hand circle the front, return to the sides, and we stretch up, breathe in, reach up, and drop the elbows, drop the wrist, Drop the fingertips, follow the fingers down. Stretch out, that cat. I think she's liking the morning stretch here. At least this one. And follow your fingertips down again, roll down through the back. That's the cat. Stretch out. And one more time. She understands what I'm saying. Notice how she's properly positioned just at the time that I happen to get there. And hands return to your sides. This is my helper. Alright, so these stretches, ideally what you want, we got an outward circle and the inward circle. And I talked about this in Tai Chi class a little bit. We have the yin fish and the yang fish. So in the Tai Chi symbol, there is yin and there is yang, right? You have the yin, sometimes it's light and dark, white and black. There are elements within each of the other. So within yin there is yang, within yang there is yin. There's always that closeness. So Professor Leo taught it as the swimming fish, right? You've got the two swimming fish, and they don't separate. They are always there and complementing each other, right? So in Tai Chi, we're not talking about opposites, we're talking about complements. So yin is a complement to yang. Light is a complement to dark, right? We need both. Outward circle, inward circle. We need both. Side circle. Left side, right side. I'm going to face you. I'm going to go to my right. You're going to your left. Hand circle to the front. Come back to the center. Up along the center line. And turn. Your left. And there's the petting opportunity here for those of you who have pets. And she knows. I think this is going to be her new favorite activity. Again, with our other stretches, same here. Bend the knees. The legs are doing a lot of the work. And turn, go the other side. Breathe in as you come up. Breathe out as you stretch out over the legs. And one more time. Stop in the center, elbows drop down, wrists, fingertips, both hands return to your sides. Okay, we have two other stretches that go with this particular set. One of them is one we've already done, which is this outward, inward as one. So we've done outward 1, outward 2. This one is circle out, circle in as 1. Both hands to the front. Hands up along center line. Stretch up. Breathe out. Reach out over the legs. Bend the knees. Relax. Roll up through the back. Stretch up. And elbows drop down. Wrists. Fingertips. Follow your fingers. Roll down. Stretch out. So stop there for a minute. So we have this one. The last one that I have with this particular set is one that takes a little more practice than some of the others, or younger person. I'm real young. Okay. So it's similar to what we've just been doing. We have the circle, right? And we come up along the center line. And instead of going to one side or the other, we're going to go to both sides. And sink. I'm only going down a little bit right now. I'm going to do the rest of it in a minute. And we come back up. And we do it again. So stretch out. So you're reaching out in both directions as you settle and sink. And as you come up, pull straight up. Really, really focus on working that center line. Stretch out, stretch up, hands return to your sides. Okay, yeah, I am going to do this in just a second. So the same as with our other circle stretches, all of them, you should do the movement in as perfect a circle as possible, according to how much you can move, right? So if I can go all the way down to the floor, great, I should do that. If I can go only this far, that's where I should be. The requirement isn't that you go to the floor. The requirement is there must be the circle, okay? If there's not a circle, the movement's wrong. If there's a circle, it could be larger, it can be smaller. It must be a circle. Okay, so we have that part. The movement that I was talking about, again, this is something that if you're, like 3 or 4 years old, you're probably going to be able to do this without too much trouble. I have to work at it a little bit more. Okay. And I could get better. My back should be more straight, right? Otherwise, the hips and the legs are working pretty good today. Bonus. All right, so I want to do our floor stretches here real quick. So let's do this one first. So feet flat on the floor. You want, if you can, put your knees on the floor, because we're going to press and roll over that. I'm checking to make sure that I've got all the pieces in the frame. Alright, so fingertips pointed in, you press down gently, and you want to not hit the cat. You want this part of your arm to feel fairly straight. Okay, so you're pushing this way, not doing some other thing that I don't know how you do it in this position, but okay. So much as you can. Again, it's up to your body to tell you what you can and can't do. Listen to it. All right. As you lean forward, pull up through the abs, raise up through the back. Try and leave your legs. All right, your legs. Leave your legs on the ground. Pull up through the hip. Okay, and we can get that sense of what that feels like. Put your fists down right behind your legs, right up next to where your leg inserts into your hip. Fist, put your hands down, push up, push yourself up. Leave your legs on the floor, push yourself up. That's what it feels like when your hips open. And try and pull everything in so you can kind of keep it that way as you release your arms in the back. Okay? So, on the legs, keep this up and open. Stretch out over the legs, much as you can. And roll back up. Right. So we're just going to rock a little bit back and forth. Keep the legs on the floor. Try and keep the knees down. Open the hip. Every time you rock back, every time you come straight, try and pull up a little bit more. And then try and reach out just a little bit more as you go forward. As you come back, stretch up a little bit more. And the same thing, as you go forward, try and stretch as much as you can. Very much through the abs here. A little bit through the side of the sides and the back. But as I stretch up, as I'm trying to hold up, I'm very much using the abs and this the cross muscles that support my hips. Okay, so we go to the side, and this is a dancer stretch. Both of these are to open the hip. Relax the legs, all right? If I had a partner on either of these stretches, we could rock back and forth. And it's kind of fun to work with a partner and do this, all right? I have a cat. She does this really well, but not so good with this. Okay. And there's kind of a weight difference, so it'd be tough. All right, so we want to stretch up. Again, legs on the floor. You want your leg, bone, all of this on the floor. The hips should try to be open. It's harder to do. Same thing here. Fist, put it down right behind the hip. Push up. Leave the leg down. All right? Leave the leg where it is. Push the rest of you up. That's the position that you want to keep. It's not easy to do that. I'm gonna grant you, it's not easy to do that. As we roll forward and roll back, the more that you can create some separation between where your leg sits and where your hip has to roll over it, the greater extent you can reach. So the more open your hip, the further forward you can roll. It's basic physics, right? As you roll forward, If you're doing this as a solo exercise, right? As you roll forward, take your hands and press out toward your feet along the inside of both legs. And it's just firm but very gentle. This is not you're not beating yourself up. What you're trying to do is to help stretch the inside part of the leg. So as you go forward, what you feel up in here, you stretch that. Smooth it out. Try and make it pull into the bone so that it doesn't bunch. The smoother it is, the further forward you can go. Okay? So we're going to go to the right side and the left side. Left hand comes up overhead. Stretch out the right hand over the toes. And your ear goes to your knee. Or thereabouts. And stretch up the other side. Ear to the knee. So as you go over, your stretch is here, right? This line to go over. If I turn and go this way, I'm working on a different group of muscles, okay? So this one and this one. We have another option for same kind of stretch, different hand position, so it's a little bit, maybe it's a little bit more difficult than just one hand. So we're here. We've got upper hand, lower hand, and this is again, it's from dance, so ballet. So as I go over, I have my lower hand reaching out in opposition to my upper hand. The goal is still the same, ear to the knee. I need a couple more weeks on that. Alright, so with all of these stretches, and there's some more floor work that I'm going to include, there are fundamental body alignment, muscle groups, and types of what I'm going to call engagement that we want to cultivate, and other types that we just don't want to have at all. Okay, so the kinds that we want to cultivate are that smooth, extended use of the muscle, wrapping the muscle in a natural position up into and next to the bone that supports, right? Closing that in so that the body is able to move as it's pretty much designed to move, or in as close a manner as you can get today to the way your body is designed to move. So if we just assume that everything's working perfectly and you're like, 3 years old, that's how your body can move. You can do that, but maybe not today, right? So we want to cultivate that. We don't want to cultivate the tension and the difficulty that comes with trying to do something that is not in harmony with what you can do today, Right, so it's talking about these forward stretches. If my stretch today is right here, that's my stretch today. If I try to do more, maybe it's going to cause me some pain, and if it causes me pain, I'm not gonna do it. There's no point. This should feel, I mean, if something's wrong and you're trying to heal it, then yeah, you may feel some pain. But, and pain is not a bad thing to tell you that you are doing something wrong or that you need to pay attention to some part of your body. But if you're doing an exercise and it's causing you to feel pain, don't do it. You know, old joke, doctor, when I do this, my shoulder hurts. Doctor says, don't do that. You want to look at it, you want to figure out what's causing it and see if there's a way to remedy. Maybe it's a practice thing that, maybe it's an injury that you just weren't aware of. Okay, but the point in what you don't want to do in practice is to be tense, to have pain, unnecessary pain, to have your muscles bunch up because you're trying so hard to do something. Those are bad for what we're doing. We don't want that. We want relaxed, soft, comfortable, everything's open, we can move freely, and it takes a little bit more to develop than some of the other skills. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm 65, I'm sitting here cross-legged on the floor, and I'm going to get up in a minute. And I can do that today because I practice. Hope you come back again. I will be back for the morning stretch on Friday. See you then.